how much do you make in a month?
It's in between lakhs a month. COVID happened and my father's business got shut down. I got laid off from 1 lakh rupees a month. I was dropped to 30,000 rupees a month.
What is the highest amount you've gotten paid for one single project?
30,000 rupees a project.
Today we are in JP Nagar. Let's talk to a few young people and find out what they do for a living. Hi,
Yes.
what's your name and what do you do for a living?
My name is Mohit and I make content for others and I also do video editing.
Okay. If you don't mind me asking, how much do you make in a month?
It's in between 3 to 4 lakhs a month.
That's a lot. Did you go to a film school?
No, actually I haven't gone to any college.
How do you manage to earn so much without going to a college?
That's actually a very long story.
We have all the time in the world. Let's sit and talk.
Yeah, sure.
So, before getting into work and money, take us through your journey, early journey. What was your childhood like?
From the beginning, I was a creative person. I was like building origami structures, watching YouTube tutorials, and while watching YouTube tutorials, I got interested in let's make a YouTube video by myself. So that's when I started making YouTube videos by myself. And my father's was like had a small business in my town. There, like he was like traveling to other states here and there like often, and as we grow up I found out myself and then I went into the gaming. So I was a professional gamer before like starting video editing professionally, and then COVID happened and my father's business like got shut down because it was like all offline setup and offline workforce. So yeah, that's when my family went through the financial hardship, and that's when actually my 12th was like just ended. My school was like just got completed and I didn't have money for the college. So I was like, okay, I cannot continue gaming because the earning is so volatile in the gaming industry at that time. So I was like, okay, how to earn money because I cannot wait for the college and neither do I have money. So what to do? I knew about content creation, I knew about editing. So I started video editing, and then I was like getting clients here and there, like very low paying clients.
Okay, so when you first started doing this professionally, how much were you making in a month?
So when I started, I instantly was making 1 lakh rupees a month because of my connection and network. And I was having a job back then at a tech company. I got laid off because they just mass hired a lot of people and then fired a lot of people. From 1 lakh rupees a month, I was dropped to 30,000 rupees a month.
From 30,000 to now that you're making 3 to 4 lakhs, what was the lead? Like, what was the upscale? How did you do that?
So I went to Delhi and then I upskilled myself. Then I joined a really big YouTuber in India, which is like Mohak Mangal. I joined him. I was remembering like there was a competition going on in video editing in India. Like the prize pool was like 50,000 rupees. I was like excited and I participated in that competition. I didn't won, so I didn't win, of course, because of my skill. But I have upskilled myself throughout the journey. Then I was like having an idea. Okay, let's post this video which I made for the competition on a social media. Then I posted it on X, and it got attention from a really like big creators, Colin and Samir and Hayden Hiller Smith. So one of my friend like running an agency in UK saw that video. So he reached out to me and was asking, would you be interested in joining our agency? And interestingly, I applied in his agency like 1 year prior and got rejected 3 times. That's where I got my first international client and big clients. And I made my portfolio in international, in like English speaking channels. And then it was like domino effect.
So now that you mentioned the international clients, that reminds me, what is the highest amount you've gotten paid for one single project?
If I say the highest, it is recent, which is like 5,30,000 rupees a project. And why? Why is very important. You see this timeline. It is a very complex timeline, and it tells a lot of story via visually and via sound design. You need a really good understanding in filmmaking and storytelling, like how screenplays work, how screenwriting works, how do stories work, where is the conflict, where is the character, what is subplot, plot, like there's a lot of terms, right? So you had to get to that place where you naturally knows all of it, and it comes within, like from within you. Yeah, and that's why we get paid. So upskill a lot, learn filmmaking, and yeah, that's where the magic happens.
So, how can video editors ensure that they are not getting underpaid?
So it's all about positioning. And many video editors, like, what do they say? Okay, I edit videos. Okay, you edit videos. Okay, this person is also editing videos, and this person is also editing videos. What does these comparison means is like it is commoditized. When you are saying a video editor, it's a commoditized offer where client can compare you to the other people, and you have to decommoditize yourself. How? Basically, position yourself as an expert of an X thing. For example, me, I am a storyteller who is whose expertise are in documentary niche. So now the client, okay, he is not a video editor, he is a storyteller who edit documentaries, and he is a filmmaker also. So he cannot compare me to the other people because there are not other people who are doing it. So you need to decommoditize your offer and positioning. That's how you can crack big clients. And how you do it? By basically picking up your niche. And how do you pick your niche? Basically doing a lot of work. Like you have to edit 300 plus of long form videos, 500 plus of short form videos, and then you got to know, shit, this is what I like to edit, and I'm gonna stick to it, and then I'm gonna position myself like as an expert in this area, and that's how you get like decommoditize your offer and get high paying clients.
Could you walk us through the journey of how did you manage to upscale that much? Did you take any courses?
So when it's come to upskilling, I always seek opportunities which is like challenging to me at that point. So when I joined Mohawk back in 2023, I was really like keen to learning from the editing manager there, and I learned a lot there. I was like asking millions of questions in person from them and learning about them. Like if they are saying something, then there might be 90% you won't understand, and you need to understand that by yourself. So go internet, ask Chat GPT, ask Google, and execute it. So went worked with Mohawk, and then worked on a largest storytelling academy in the world because I wanted to learn storytelling in depth. So yeah, I worked with a German YouTuber who built the largest academy, and we did like some crores in five days itself in Bali. And so yeah, from the beginning, I was seeking opportunities which challenges me, and the opportunities which like I need to learn. So I was learning and getting paid at the same time. That's my strategy till this date.
So, creative professionals have this fear of instability, of fluctuating income. So, how do you safeguard yourselves?
So basically, when you are at a intermediate level or when you are replaceable because of your commoditized offer, that's when fluctuation comes in, right? So at a point, if you're like if you are like very skilled person, and your clients is like also very a big name or a big YouTuber or a big brand, then they also cannot afford to rehire again and again because because the hiring process is very painful actually. The hiring process is literally so much painful that it took 2 months, up to 2 to 3 months to hire a good talent. So they also cannot afford to rehire and hire and again, and you cannot also like be intermediate to approach them. So you have to be really skilled as a creative person. Like you need to get your niche down and everything down, and you are like your skills are like top notch, like in top 1%. That's when fluctuation goes away, like because you have the soft skills you need, you have the skills you need to get the work done. If you're not replaceable, then fluctuation goes away.
So, what are the biggest mistakes you see video editors making right now?
So the biggest mistakes in any career, like I don't think so specifically there is a mistake which a video editor do. It's in every career which is like which is related to soft skills. So get your communication very straight. Like learn about communication, learn about how to talk, how to give updates, how to negotiate, and yeah, that's the mistake which most of the people make regardless of the career. And yeah, I think that's it, because soft skills are the skills which a person needs to learn first before getting into the professional area.
Okay, that makes sense. But you have come a long way in editing. So if someone younger is watching right now, what advices will you give them?
Best advice I could give from my experience is like getting your portfolio straight. So most people like, oh, I want to crack this client, but I'm not able to. But when you ask why, they're like the answer lies in their portfolio. A channel which gives information about your finance, and your portfolio is like gaming videos, right? So it doesn't make sense to send gaming videos to a finance channel, right? So first make your portfolio into the finance channel, and then approach your dream client or big client. And the second thing is like, okay, now the client responded, now what? So you need to learn about negotiation, how to negotiate your price, how to talk to a client, and what are like pain points basically setting up an offer. So here you need to learn a little bit about business so you can make your offer, because that is very important, like getting your offer straight. And the third is like stick what you have like promised. Like many editor like promise big things and then they couldn't deliver. So make portfolio first. So that is why making portfolio first is very important. This is your proof of work, and then go to the client, and then yeah, so I have done this work previously, I can do it for you, and just do it like with 200% of your energy.
Okay, this has been a really insightful conversation. Thank you so much for sharing your journey with us and for hosting me at your place.
Yeah, it was my pleasure.